Hello, my name is Jennifer, and welcome to my summary of the My Wedding Stories live stream that happened on February 11th. So to start with, the new world is Tartosa, which we already knew. It has 9 lots in 2 neighborhoods. 2 of the lots are empty. 1 is a beach lot. 2 are residential with families already in them. We have 2 empty starter homes, 1 wedding venue, which is a new lot type coming to base game with the update that precedes the pack's release, and 1 lounge and 1 rental lot. There are also going to be 5 wedding venues on the gallery that were created by Game Changers, and one of those venues will work on the empty beach lot that comes with the world. And also they had mentioned another one should place nicely in Newcrest. Now, as I said, the wedding venue is a new lot type coming to base game, so anyone can use that. You don't need to have the pack to use it. Now, we already knew that you can swim in the water, so you can swim in the water. If you swim at the beach that is in the little town area at night, you can get some romantic buffs, was what they commented on. And kids can play in the sand. You don't have to have island living for that. And you can also draw in the sand, which is something that is new for this pack. And there is a new collection called Message in a Bottle, and they said there were 20 different bottles you can get. Some of the messages, when you read them, there'll be messages, and some of them are for Sims in the area, and some are from Sims from other worlds. So there's a lot of lore in the world, and the 2 families have some lore between them. And the 2 families are not the families from the live stream. They're 2 separate families, but the 2 Sims in the trailer, I said the live stream, I meant the trailer. The 2 Sims in the trailer, Cam and Dom, they are in the game, and they will be in Tartosa, but they are not placed in the world. They'll be there. And you can learn about the lore from chatting with the locals, including Cam and Dom. More to the point, I think those are the main ones, but you have to befriend them first. And Cam is a painter and will tell you scenic locations for painting. And Dom is a town historian, and you can learn more lore from her because of that. So the town square has a city hall, which is a rabbit hole type building where your Sims can get married immediately. And in this town square, you can find some kiosks there. There's 2 for food, which you have Indian and Chinese, and there's some, for the Indian, I think there were 5. I know I took a video. It should show at some point, or has possibly already shown. And I think Chinese, there were 4 food types, but there could be more options available, or there will be more options available if you have other packs. But they were only playing with base game and the game pack, the My Wedding Stories game pack, so that was all we could see. There's another kiosk for cake, where you can sample the cake or buy the cake and try a slice, or you can buy your full wedding cake there. There's another one for flowers, where you can actually just buy flowers, or you can buy the bouquets. And then there's a wedding dress. The wedding dress one is like built in, like the cake and the flowers are little kiosk things, like booth type things that are placed, whereas the other 3 are sort of built into the facade. Now, with the wedding dress one, when you go into it, it takes your sim in to create a sim on their own, and then you can choose their whichever sim it is. If it's, the bride, you can choose the wedding dress or whatever outfit. You can, dress them. And the same for, if you have the Sims in the live stream, they had a daughter who they took her in and showed her clothes. And I got some clips of it, and I'll show it sped up so you can see some of the stuff that you can see what they showed that's coming in the Create a Sim items. And there's lots of pretty places in both neighborhoods to get nice pictures and nice lights at night and fireflies and things like that, and very just generally I think they put a lot of work into it. So it's a pretty big world for a game pack, so that's one really good thing about it. So with the clothes, which they're obviously formal clothes and formal hairstyles because of the nature of the pack. There's boutonnieres for the males, and they're found under necklaces. And from the description, or how they described it in the game, the veil that you can see in the box art, and I think it was in the trailer too, it seems like it's maybe part of a hairstyle as opposed to being a hat. I'm not sure. They didn't actually show it because they showed the little girl's hair, and then they changed, they cleared the gender, and so they showed the little boy's hair. They didn't show it for the adults. Now, with the weddings, you use the add wedding event option. So right now you have a social event, And if you have this pack, you'll also, under the social event, it'll be add wedding event. You can book it in your calendar, you can book it from the computer, or you can book it from your phone. So it works similarly to how you book social events, but it is different. It's its own separate little thing. And when you go add wedding event option, if you have an engaged couple, you will see 6 different options, which I will show on the screen. But they are batch party, reception, rehearsal dinner, engagement dinner, family gathering, and wedding ceremony. There is a 7th one, but it only appears for Sims who are already married, and that is a vow renewal. So they didn't show that here because the couple, even though they've been together for many years and had a child, they weren't married yet, so they were using them as an example of how the weddings worked. They only showed the wedding ceremony itself because, in the live stream, you can't really show the other ones, would take long time over different days. Now, with the wedding ceremony, it's very, very customizable. I'm assuming the same is true for all of the other events. So you can set the activities, and it's similar kind of to how Seasons is, where you go and you pick what you want there. But they took like 7, so it didn't seem like there was a limit on the things you could pick or the number of things you could pick. But unlike with social events, where you have to get the goals, you don't. They're just optional. They're just there to guide you for what you thought you wanted to do. And if you didn't choose an option, you can still do it anyway. So they tried to make it so that you could suit what you wanted to do with your gameplay and your story you wanted to tell. From what I can gather, that part seemed to be very much the way it is. Now, note that for your Sim of Honor or your Flower Pal or your Ring Bearer, wasn't sure about the can't think of the word, but the person marrying you, you have to ask them in the game. It's part of the gameplay. You can't just assign it when you're setting up the wedding. And there's also a chance they may say no. The little girl, the mom asked her to be the Flower Pal, and she said yes, but she said, I guess when they were going through some of the trial runs, she had said no at sometimes, so not guaranteed, which is quite amusing. Now, for the wedding cake, you can buy it online, you can buy it at the kiosk, or you can make it yourself, but you need the gourmet cooking skill, and different ones unlock at different levels from what I could see in the live stream. But from what I also could see, the cost was the same even if you bought it or you made it, so you don't save any money by making it, but it might be that you might have a better quality, because if you bake something, you might have better cooking skill than what you get, because the cake spoiled in that they had the mom make a cake, or the female make a cake, because she, I think, had maxed the skill, and it was excellent, but they didn't properly put it in the fridge, so by the time it came time for the wedding the next morning, it had spoiled, so they bought a cake, and it was only normal, so you might get a better cake if you make it yourself. There are 9 different shapes and many different flavors and colors of cakes. You have 10 different types of toppers, and then many different color swatches of those types of toppers. So lots of permutations and whatnot that you can make for your cake and your topping. And even fruitcake is one of the flavors, they said. I don't think I'll be using that one because not many of my Sims like fruitcake, though I have a few that do. And you can inscribe a message on the topper, and keep the topper with a message as a memento afterwards. So that's kind of a nice thing. So you can take it off and then just keep it. Now, for flowers, when you buy your flowers, your bouquet, you can place it in the world and a glass vase gets added and it can just become a decoration. You can also make the bouquets if you have the Seasons expansion pack. And it sounded like you have more options with the Seasons flowers than you have just with this pack. So there's more things available for you. Now, they did show the dancing, which, they showed the whole wedding ceremony, and I have to say it was a little bit glitchy. They had to reset the Sims, not just with the wedding ceremony, just in general when they were doing things. Not that many times, but a couple of times, and you have to, if you have a Sim holding a bouquet, you have to remember to take it out or they can't do anything else, because they did that a couple of times where they tried to get the Sim to draw on the sand, and they were like, oh, we got to get the bouquet out, because she had been like looking at the bouquets downtown, and just things like that. Like if they have a bouquet going down the aisle, they have to put the bouquet away before they can get married, which, makes some sense, because if you hold flowers in real life going down, you pass it off to someone. You don't hold it while you're getting married. But she walked off away after walking down the aisle to put the flowers away, and then she had to be told to come back. So yeah, not perfect with respect to the ceremony, but anyways, it's still, they were able to, the Sims did sit that they had watching, and they seemed to like be reacting to what was going on in the ceremony, so that was kind of nice. And the other thing, of course, that they did is they showed off the dancing. They showed off the toasting too, but you know, it was whatever. But the dancing was the one for me, was the highlight. So they showed the dancing, which I'll show here, and there were some additional interactions while you're slow dancing. You can kiss, you can flirt, and you can chat. And they mentioned that if if someone tries to kiss a sim while slow dancing and their relationship isn't high enough, you could fail. So that made me think that the slow dancing is not just for the weddings. And like they had like the first dance, but I'm thinking maybe it's more than just here. They only ever showed it at the wedding, but anyways. And we know that adults can dance with a child because we saw that in the trailer. And there's group dancing that's kind of like doing the Macarena kind of thing. And I did notice, because it was only base game plus this pack, that the sim gained fitness skill really quickly. Actually, she went from, she gained it to level 3 like almost instantly. I don't think that's supposed to be like that. But anyways, that's what I noticed. I would think if you have Get Together, which is where the dancing skill comes with, that you would learn the dancing skill with it. But, I don't know. They only had those 2 packs. So there's some other objects that came with the pack. There's 2 tea sets, which they've mentioned. One is sort of English inspired. One is Chinese inspired. And you can, make tea and drink the tea. And if you use it in a wedding ceremony or one of the types of wedding events, they would have more interactions than what you do have normally, but you can use it regardless. There's 5 new wedding arches. There's a new piano. There's a new bar with a bar back, essentially a separate piece that has room for decor like photos and flowers. And there's a new buffet table. And the food that gets served there is the same as what you see in the kiosk. If you just, I think, serve food that you could pick, it looked like, but they didn't show that. They just showed filling the table up by default. There's a toasting bucket, which is something you would put on top, and you can do toasts with it, and some other interactions to guide your guests through the ceremony and through the reception and whatnot. And there's a drink fountain. So a table, the buffet table and drink fountain, you would already have them if you had luxury parties. So kind of makes luxury party not relevant, because those are the 2 pieces from that pack that I usually use them for weddings for the most part. Now you don't need it because you get it with this pack. So if you don't have luxury party already, I don't think you really need it. There's an aisle which has short, medium, and long lengths. So depending on the length, and then you can either have it with flowers down the side, or you could have nothing down the side. And they had decorations you can put on the side on your own, so you can change it up and make it look like you want. And there was a dance floor, and it came in 3 different sizes. So as I already mentioned before, I noticed that the sim gained fitness skill, so the dance skill does not come with this pack. You still need Get Together for that. Now, the base game is getting an update. Obviously, we always get an update before pack comes out. And some of the things that we are getting is that some of the formal outfits are getting more swatches that are base game outfits. So you're going to have more swatches just in the base game on its own. The little girl's dress that comes in the holiday pack is getting some more colors too. The existing wedding arches are getting more swatches. And as I mentioned before, there's a new lot type coming, the wedding venue. Now, there was a couple of things, like I said, they had to reset the Sims. The cutting the cake itself didn't work, but they were able to, feed the cake, and that worked. And there was like quote unquote a goal for taking the first slice or cutting the cake, and it got met by feeding each other the cake. I don't think it was supposed to be like that, and they said it usually worked. So I think it was hopefully just a one-off glitch and not something that's going to affect all of them. And then the other thing is this: when they served the food and they called the people to eat, they just grabbed the food and ate right there and didn't go sit down. So I kind of wonder if they'd put the buffet table closer to where the actual table was. Maybe they might have sat down, but I don't really know. So, but that was kind of it. There was a lot in the live stream, so it took me a little while to go over everything that I saw in the live stream and explain everything that was there. But if you did watch the live stream, let me know if you had a favorite thing, or if you haven't watched the live stream, let me know what I've mentioned is coming that is your favorite part in a comment down below. But that's going to be it for this video. Likes and comments are always appreciated and they really help with the algorithms. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!